Start right now living an extraordinary life. Join your life coach and favorite auntie, Carla D. Tillery, and co-host LA on the Chair Chronicles. Having those important life talks and giving you advice to help you live your best life. LA,
hey,
we're back here for another great episode.
Yes.
And we've got a great question of the day.
Okay, let's dig in. I'm ready.
Okay.
I'm ready.
So the question is, what influences your perspective on a new year? What influences your perspective on a new year? We've got 2022 right around the corner.
Yes, we do.
And there's always a lot of conversation about, starting new things or making resolutions.
Right.
But sometimes we don't really dig in to understand what actually sort of allows us to make certain decisions or influence our perspective on how we see a new year.
Wow.
Is it really the beginning of something different? Is it the beginning of something the same?
Mm-hmm.
Are you excited about it? Are you not excited about it? And whatever it is and however you see the new year, what pushes you to think that way?
That's a really, really good question. And it's actually deeper than what we talk about when we've talked about last year at the end of the year about our goals and our resolutions. So this is something much deeper.
This is much deeper to try to find out what happens in your experience, your space, the way you live, what you are surrounded by that influences your perspective on a new year.
Wow.
It's a new calendar year, and some take that literally as January 1, like December 31st, January 1. It's a whole new day, and like everything changes on January 1.
Right.
And then for some, it could be how they process the previous year that influences whether they're excited or not excited about a new year.
True. That's very true.
Or is it something beyond what you experience? Maybe it's a belief, maybe it's a value that you carry as part of your life.
Wow. Well, I think it definitely opens itself to us thinking about how we each process.
Yes.
Because everybody's experience is
different.
It's different. I believe that we all went into 2021 being more hopeful. I believe that, after having that first year of having a pandemic, which means none of us, unless you were, born during the Spanish flu and those kind of pandemics, we've never experienced anything like that.
That's right.
So I think for us, as the numbers started to go down, as we started to, especially in the state of Connecticut, we had really low numbers, and we kind of went into saying, oh, thank goodness.
Thank God.
We're beyond this. Yeah. And in January, we were still in that place where things started to open up and people started to feel a little bit more freer. And then all of a sudden, look where we are.
Yeah, the summer, things really opened up.
Yeah.
The everything became a little bit more relaxed with the mask wearing. And now we're back where we're seeing those sort of mandates change.
Yeah.
So it's been a whirlwind.
Yes.
And as you said, I think a lot of people were hopeful. And then still seeing, though, and experiencing loss, I think that triggers a lot for people.
Absolutely.
I'm still dealing with a lot of people that are trying to process grief because it has been some unexpected sort of losses. And even for those that might have been expected, it still takes you off your feet.
It does.
And so there's something that comes with just processing grief. And even if it's not in your family, people you care about are dealing with it. And then just hearing the stats and knowing that nationally, somebody somewhere is still dealing with a loss of a loved one. Yeah. And so life is happening still very quickly.
It is.
And it's taking us. Getting us off in some areas.
It really is. And that's why the questions that you pose definitely is one that I like better than what's your resolution for the new year? What's your goals for the new year? It's really about digging in deep to those places within us that fuel us and keep us moving forward. And so how do we do that? Definitely one who has suffered a loss earlier part of the year. I lost my dad. He had dementia, and being a caretaker. And now watching my mom kind of process that now, because she is a nurturer, obviously, by nature. And so it has, shaped how I view things and even, and how I view the world. It's different.
It's different. Yeah. So will it continue to shape, right, your perspective and enthusiasm or motivation for a new year? Does it have any value? The fact that it is the turning of the clock, the turning of time, right, into a new year, because we, the traditional thing to say is Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, right.
And then you might find somebody say it ain't happy at all, right? So we don't know what we're going to combat with when we are, talking with our friends, talking with our family, and whether they're excited or not. I would love for our audience, we want you to chime in and let us know if you're excited or not about the new year and what influences your perspective. Right. But I'm interested to hear yours, LA.
All right. Well,
I'll go first.
For me, it's a combination of things. So one is my faith. However you practice your faith, whatever that looks like, I believe that that's at my center. And so that center of my faith is all things will work out. All things work together.
All things will work together.
And so, no matter how hard it may seem, that there is a brighter day coming. And it doesn't mean that it's coming 20 years from now. It can happen as quickly as that.
Right.
So that's one thing. And then the other part of it is I do reflect on the experiences that I have had, whether they were good or whether they weren't so great. Those things on my checklist, did I check them off? Did I succeed in certain things? Did I not in others? And I don't look at it with an eye of, oh, this is tragic. I can't wait to get past this so I can get to the new year. I believe it's to shape me and to keep me to move forward. Okay. So, I think, I'm an E personality. If those of you that know me know that I am definitely one who, I definitely see the glass, half full. I don't see it as half empty. So, there's just something within me that just believes that it's going to get better. And even if I go through something, after I've said it's going to get better, I know I can get through it. And so it also encompasses the people that are around me and that love on me.
Yeah. So, yeah. That's good.
Yeah.
Well,
so how about you?
So, by nature, we are kindred sisters.
Can you tell?
So I think I'm also very much driven. My perspective on life, period, is driven definitely by my faith. Right. That has been the core. It's been poured into me since I was young. I didn't have no choice. You had no choice. I was just raised to have faith, to be optimistic, to, as you said, to know that even when you're having a bad experience, that there still is something in that. There's a gem in there somewhere. Even when you don't see it or experience it in the moment, later you can always do some reflections and find something that carries you, that teaches you, that shapes you into your next. And so with growing up with that and then being surrounded by other people who thought the same way, right? It's easy for me to always find that way to take lemons and make lemonade and put a whole bunch of sugar in there and make you clear your throat. Make you clear your throat when it goes down. And so I've always found a way, I think, to pull something out of a bad situation, to give me some hope, to make it seem like it had some value, right? That the experience itself had some value for me. Right. So, but what I would say is what influences my perspective is my pursuit to fulfill my purpose. Yes. That is something, and all my clients know I drill on this about being purposeful, right? Yes. That's what drives me. That's what influences my perspective, knowing that I'm not there yet and there's more to do to fulfill my God-given purpose. And so with that in mind, I know that is surrounded by good experiences, some heartache, some pain, some stretching, some reshaping, some reforming. And that even in those moments when I'm looking at a rose and I pick it up and I get pricked, right, I still can appreciate the beauty of the rose, because I know that there is more to me to be done. There's more that I have to do to fulfill my purpose. And that's what I keep on the forefront of my mind to keep me going, not just from December 31st to January 1. But it's from, like May 4th to May 5th.
Yes, absolutely.
October the 1st to October the 2nd.
It's continual.
It's continual. It's continual. Yeah. And so with that in mind, it's almost, I feel like that's my carrot as the little rabbit. Yeah. It's like chasing that. Right, chasing that. And it's always going to be something coming at you. Right. There's always going to be something that stirs you. And I talked about this on another episode, just about, people oftentimes will have a bad moment, right? But we have to be careful, because some bad moments stretch into bad days, stretch into bad months, stretch into bad years. And people feel like that they can be stuck in a season, right, of one thing happening after another thing happening after another thing, which is, I think, some of what has been experienced over the last 2 years.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
It's been one thing after another. You get a little bit of hope, and then next thing you know, something happens. You know, maybe you lost your job, and then somebody else hired you, but then they laid you back off because of COVID. Or maybe you lost one loved one, and then next thing you know, you hear about somebody else. Or the next thing you know, it could be 2 or 3 people at the same time that's passing. And so sometimes people feel like they get in these seasons, right? Whereas one thing happening after another. The more I try, the more that happens. It's like the more I try to be optimistic, boom, this bill is due. That's happening. I can't get this done. And so I think, though, for me, again, is knowing that I've got a purpose, that there's a reason why I'm here. And if I am still here, I can still pursue the fulfillment of that.
That's it. Oh, my gosh.
So that's what influences me. Yeah. It's not my experiences per se. It is more about my belief that I'm here for a reason. And I've got to get it done.
You got to get it done.
I've got to get it done.
So what do we say to people who hear that? They hear it, but for some reason, like you said, they're just stuck in this, but you don't know what I've been through.
And then I'm like, well, you don't know what I've been through.
You haven't had my experience.
That's true. Yeah.
And so how do we speak to that? How do we, because there, let's just be clear. There are some people that are just going to be negative. I don't care if the sun is shining. I don't care if you just said you want to scratch off. Right. Well, I'm gonna have to take it to the store and cash it in. So they're gonna always be upset about something. So how do you get them?
Because my response is, life is universal.
That's right.
Being a human is universal. Unless you're talking to a Martian, unless you're talking to
and I've never seen that.
E.T. I don't know. Life is universal. Right. Humanality is universal. And so I don't have to have the same experiences as you to be able to relate to you as a human.
That's it.
And so because of that, what I can say is, you will have experiences and I will have some experiences, and they're always not that great either for me. Right. And so just because I'm not wearing your size, whatever your shoe size is, you're not wearing my shoes either. And so that's what's universal, is that we all are living on this earth. We all, I still believe, because of my faith, believe that we have a reason for being here. Yes. Right? And because of that, I can look at you and say, you are here and you're breathing. And because I know you didn't necessarily put air into your body. Right. Right? There is something greater, right? Yes. That is allowing you to be here. And if you're still here, then there's still a reason.
There's still a reason to move.
There's an opportunity.
That's it. That's the word. An opportunity.
There's still an opportunity.
That's a chance. Every day that we wake up and we go.
Right. That's right. So when I was talking with my husband about this and asking him about like what influences, and he's like, the new year, for him is like, it's a recognition that the last 365 days he got through them. got through them.
Simple. How simple is that?
It's simple.
That's not a Freudian, you're on the board trying to map it out. And,
Whether it was good, whether it was bad, there were all different things that happened that shaped, but he got through 365 days. If you're just looking at a calendar year and you just want to be very kind of as matter of fact. Right. The point that on January 1, you can say you got through 365 days.
I made it.
Right? Yeah. That gives you an opportunity to say, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
What's going to happen in the next 365 days?
And you have a choice. You have choices.
Yeah. He also said like the unexpected kind of is exciting for him. And so there are different things that influence people. So my cousin, he wrote a post. So I want to talk a little bit about it. Yeah, I thought it was really good. And it really was kind of just getting me thinking just about this conversation that we're happening right now. And his post was relative to talking about the word close. And what does that mean? Because we're close to the end of the year. But the word also close means almost like to an end, the end of something. And so his post was reflecting, we have made it to the end of 2021, which means we are almost in 2022. And it was just a lot of encouragement to say that there are some things we must close, situations we must conclude, relationships we must end, behavior habits we must stop in order to get the full effect of the next. So his perspective as he was, meditating and sharing was just that we'll have to close some things in order to be open to some new things. And so I thought that was interesting.
That's very interesting and very, very introspective. And I think we all can use that. We all can say that, we are looking forward. And again, there are some things and there are some people that will carry some of that baggage on into the new year. Right. But if you are one that want to release and just feel like, okay, I'm going in with a fresh pair of eyes, there are some things that, it's one of the things that I do at the end of the year. I start cleaning out things. I start throwing things away. So you don't wait till the spring? No, I don't.
You don't do the spring cleaning?
I do that too. But
you got a year-end cleaning.
I got a year-end cleaning. Because I do. I think about, okay, let's get rid of the things that are no longer working for me.
Ooh, that's good. I like that. A year in cleaning.
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah. That's good stuff.
Yeah. And I do. I compare it to when I shred all of my papers, my old papers and things like that. Right. It's like I'm tossing out.
Yeah, it's like the letting go. Yeah. The letting go. Yeah. Yeah. That's good. Yeah. That's good. And so, I think, when you're talking about like this closure, the other thing that came to my mind is how many of us know people who have been in a relationship and it ended, but they didn't really get closure. Ended up getting to another relationship. And then all you hear is like similarities of this old relationship that keeps trickling in. Right? Because there wasn't any true resolve, a true letting go, time to really separate yourself from the old to something that you were trying to embrace that's new and just different. And so there is something to being careful to learn a lesson, but not to carry it. Right? Not to carry, the details and the garbage with
the remnants of it
into something else.
That's true. Yeah. You're to look at it and you're supposed to learn from it. And then like you said, you're supposed to close that book and you fresh pair of eyes, fresh perspective. You know now what you need, what you want, what you will put up with, what you won't put up with. Right. And you move forward and you don't regurgitate it.
I always say you cannot drive forward looking in the rearview mirror. Can't. And so there is something, there are moments, if you're backing up out of a driveway, you have to look. But you don't stay in a permanent posture of looking behind you. Yeah. And so there's nothing wrong with a quick back to make sure you're clear, right? To make your angles and to make your turns. Right. But then once you're done, you're looking forward. You're looking forward. Right. And so I think there's something to making sure that we are careful not to bring up the things and keep looking back, what we did, what we should have done, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Nothing wrong with a quick reflection.
Right.
But you've got to quickly pivot and make sure you're moving forward.
There's nothing worse than thinking about what I didn't get done, what I didn't do. And like you said, it closes you off from looking forward. You have an opportunity. Again, when you inhale and exhale.
Right. So I will also say to people who are not excited about the year, find something different to do and challenge yourself to have a different influence so that you can have a different perspective that will create a different outcome.
There you go. I love that.
Right?
I love that.
Find something different to do to change your influence and change your perspective so that you can have a different outcome. Yeah. Because there are a lot of people who don't look forward to the holidays, who don't look forward to the new year. This is not about creating resolutions. No, this is not about saying something new, but this is about a mindset. Yeah. This is about a mind shifting. Right. That's it. Particularly if you're one of the ones who struggle and it's like humdrumming about, you don't have to get all excited and be like, I'm going to do this and this is all new on January 1. No, I'm not talking about newness per se. What I'm talking about is your perspective.
Right. And I believe when it starts in here and in here, then the external part will come. Right.
Yeah. Our mind responds to our heart.
Yes, it does.
And so if your heart is in pain and aching, then you think that way, you respond that way, your body responds in your actions, your behaviors. And so we really have to be careful with what influences our perspective. And that's why I really wanted to talk about that today.
Well, you have. Yeah. Coach Carla showed up. Not just Auntie, but Coach Carla.
What influences your perspective on a new year?
Yeah. And you can make it. You can do it. You can do it.
Right. Yeah. So I challenge us to be active participants in your own life.
Yes.
Right? Do what is necessary to make sure that you are living your best life. Yes. So check what influences your perspective, your decisions, how you see life, how you view life, and how you show up in life.
Yes.
And I'm here to help you. And if you need a life coach, please reach out to carladtillery.com. I would be happy to be your champion and to work with you as an accountability partner to make sure in 2022 it is your best year yet.
Yes, I love that.
Your best year yet. So as always, listen, we want you to like this episode. We want you to share this with others and have them to do that introspect, right? To understand what's influencing their perspectives on life. So as always, we want you to stay tuned and stay connected on
The Chair Chronicles.